It's an honor to serve as chairman for this very important session, sharing Korean economic growth experience. I would like to send my best regards to all the speakers and the participants in this session. We are very lucky to have very renowned scholars from Korea and Japan and Indonesia, and I also have the privilege to have His Excellency Ambassador Kumar from India today, and his beautiful wife too. Thank you for coming. Okay, I would just make a comment on the importance of this topic, sharing Korean economic growth experience. As you know, Korea is one of the very rare countries who jumped up to the developed economic status in the world in a very short period of time. I don't know whether you know that the 30-50 clubs, there are only 7 countries belong to this 30-50 club. The 30 means, GNP per capita 30,000, and the figure 50 means the population over 50 million people. So think about which countries may be eligible to join this 30-50 club with the consumer purchasing power of the 30,000 and the population size of the 50 million people. There are only 7 countries in the world. You may easily imagine, US, Japan, Germany, France, Great Britain, Italy. Those are the 6 countries that are belonging to the developed world. And the last, the 7th country is Korea. So in 2018, Korea was the last member to join 30-50 club with the GNI per capita over 30,000 and population over 50 million people. So right now, Korea is one of the leading countries in semiconductor, mobile phone, shipbuilding, steel industry, and automobile industries. So it has been very successful performance economically in the world. Then we may have a question. What could be the success factor of the Korean successful economic performance, both in macroeconomic perspective and the industry expertise? And one of the reason could be the K-entrepreneurship, which is our topic today. You may remember many renowned Korean businessmen such as B.C. Lee, we call it Lee Byung-chul from Samsung, or Jung Ju-young from Hyundai Group, and Kim Woo-jung of the Daewoo Group. So those are the first generation entrepreneurs. But recently we have a new blood of Korean entrepreneurs such as Lee Hae-jin of Naver, and Kim Bum-soo of Kakao, and Bang Si-hyuk of Hive, the BTS, right? So those are the common element of all these gentlemen, K-entrepreneurships. So sharing this entrepreneurial experience and expertise of Korea with the neighboring country in Asia may contribute to the prosperity of this region in the future. So I hope this session will set the platform for sharing our experience with our neighbors and then make a quantum jump for future prosperity in Asia. So we have, fortunately, one main speaker and 3 discussants. who has good knowledge on these issues. As chairperson of this session, I'll try to keep the time so that we can finish on time. So I'm rather strict in managing the time of the presentations by each speaker. So I'll allow 20 minutes for the main speakers and 10 minutes each for 3 discussants. Okay, and then maybe after that we'll have a Q&A from the floor about 10 minutes, and then we will conclude. So the official language of this session will be in English, but it is being translated in 2 different languages, so you don't have any problem. And for each speakers, we will give you some advance notice so that you can finish on time. Maybe we can give a 2-minute, early warning, okay, so that you can finish on time. So the timekeepers, please put the 2-minute warning at the end of each session. And this session will be a hybrid session. We have 3 speakers offline, and we have 1 Indonesian gentleman on the online. And so I think that Dr. Joni is joining with us from Indonesia, and I'll welcome him later when he has the chance to tell you about his story. Okay, so I want to introduce the main speaker, Dr. Kim Ki-chan. He's just sitting next to me. And Dr. Kim is one of the most renowned scholars and ambassadors for spreading K-entrepreneurship all over the world. And he's chairman-elect of ICSB, which is International Council of Small Business. So he'll be next president. Is that president or chairman? Chairman, okay. So he will be the leading the ICSB, the global institution, from next year. And he's most active and productive professor in Korean business community. And he's not only serving Korean companies such as Hyundai Motors and Samsung, but also he's working for Indonesian University as International Chancellor of President University of Indonesia. So his working range is not only cover the Korean side, but also the Indonesian side. So it's an honor to have him here, and so welcome Dr. Kim Ki-chan. So you have 20 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
So make the clock 20 minutes for him.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased to be here with you, particularly some of you from Japan, correct? Yeah, so any of you from Japan, so many, because I have ever lived in Japan for 2 years, 3 years. So personally, I have learned a lot from Japan in the beginning of 1990s, particularly Toyota Way. So I found so many multilingual, multinational audience here. So I have lived in Indonesia. Particularly, I have learned smile. So then, let me get started with the question: how many smile a day? How many times do you smile a day? So maybe in Japan, I think less than 20, correct? Yeah. Korean, less than 15, yeah. Indonesian is the most smile the people in the world, more than 120 times a day. Yeah. So in Indonesia, I have learned to smile. So then I thought fighting spirit to Indonesian. Yeah. So then how many times do you fight a day? But actually the fighting means in Korea, not about hitting, not about killing. So according to Oxford English Dictionary, fighting means encouraging others, inspiring others. So not hitting, not killing, yeah. So then whenever we are saying fighting, so we are encouraging, we are inspiring. Actually, that is the key success factor of a Korean company. So then we have many of characteristics about Korean entrepreneurship. So that I wanted to mention only two characteristics. Number one, the fighting spirit. Yeah. Number two, 빨리, which is very proactive. Yeah. So then we'll start with the question. Yeah. So entrepreneurship about regarding entrepreneurship. So which of the following is the most relevant? So somebody say entrepreneurship is about innovation. Entrepreneurship is about action. So which of the following is the most relevant? Do you think? Yeah. One, raise hand. Two, innovation. Three, action. Four, making money. Okay, then I will give an answer. Yeah. Actually, the godfather of entrepreneurship in the United States, he is a professor of Harvard Business School. Actually, we call him as a godfather of entrepreneurship. Actually, according to Howard Stevens, the essence of entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunity. Actually, the innovation is a mean or tool of entrepreneurship. Particularly, innovation without opportunity is the most dangerous. So then the entrepreneurship is, back again, number one, entrepreneurship is a spirit. The sheep means spirit. Yeah. So entrepreneurship is about spirit, mindset, philosophy. So innovation is a result of spirit, mindset. So then today I'm going to introduce the Korean experience and the Korean economic growth with you. Means, yeah, wanted to share spirit. So encouraging others, taking opportunity spirit. Yeah. So then the Korea is a country of innovation or a country of spirit. So according to Bloomberg 2021 Innovation Index, 2022 Innovation Index, 2023 Innovation Index, so actually Korea is ranked as one of the world's most innovative country. Maybe over last 10 years, I think. So why? So actually the innovation is a result of a Korean entrepreneurship, which include the fighting spirit. 빨리 is a very proactive means. Yeah. So the mindset of the three important factor of mindset is number one, proactive. The opposite word of proactive is reactive. If you are reactive, maybe you are going to be manager. If you are proactive, you can say that you are the entrepreneur. Proactivity, which is highly related with the 빨리. So Korean is very 빨리. Number two, Korean is pursuing something new, something different. So this is the number 2 fact of the entrepreneurial mindset. Number 3, the Korean is the taking risk. So actually, entrepreneur, who is entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is basically dreamer, who wanted to turn his imagination into innovation with a particular customer experience innovation. So entrepreneur is the dreamer. So then if you dream together with somebody else, you can realize your dream. But you dream only is only dream. So then the entrepreneur is a dreamer who wanted to share their imagination with the others, with the ecosystem, with the colleague, with the other suppliers. So then the innovation is the spirit. So in the beginning, 1960s, it's the same spirit. So then now the K entrepreneurship spirit was spirit of fighting. So then again, innovation is the result of behavior, but it's the mindset, spirit that creates behavior. So then entrepreneur should pursue spirit, not result, not innovation. Particularly without the innovation, without opportunity, is just a cost. So then what has happened to South Korea in last 60 years? How come? So then who are they? Actually, they are father of BTS, I think. But 1960 GDP per capita in Korea was less than 100. But so nothing happened in South Korea before we changed our mind. After we started to change mind, actually at the time, same spirit, now Korean entrepreneurship spirit, then Korea started to have been changed. So then they are son of them. Why? So Korean growth of Korean economy is like this. So in the beginning, factor-driven economy, and then the 1977, the GDP per capita only 1,000. 1988, the 5,000 GDP per capita at the time, Seoul Olympic game. 1995, the GDP per capita in Korea. So then since 1995, Korean economy has been changed from investor-driven economy to innovation-driven economy. So then because of 18 minutes have passed already, Korean entrepreneurship as an engine of growth is about speed. So then when comes to mind, when you think of Korea, maybe kimchi, many things, but more think about spirit. So I think Korea is a kind of country of spirit. So then if we can share the Korean spirit with Indonesia, with Thailand, Vietnam, actually they can make the more decent job for young generation. So particularly, fighting spirit means enable common people to do uncommon things. So the purpose of organization is to allow ordinary people to do extraordinary things with the entrepreneurship. So Peter Drucker, who has overlong his life, has observed leadership. Task of leadership is to create alignment of strength, making weakness irrelevant. So then please get a chance to understand more fighting. So because of time, so I cannot say more. Anyway, the fighting means go for it. Yeah. So then whenever you say fighting, I am inspiring, I am empowering, yeah. I am enabling them. Yeah. So that is the leadership of King Sejong. That is the leadership of Lincoln leadership. So then maybe I can summarize the characteristics of Korean entrepreneurship into 5. So today I mentioned more about fighting spirit. Yeah. Actually, the crisis, opportunity. So now it's crisis or opportunity. If you are seeing difficulty in this opportunity, you are professional. If you see opportunity in this crisis, you are entrepreneur. So if you change your mind, you can get more innovation, you can get more performance. So then how could the Asian country generate quality employment opportunity for young generation? The fighting spirit enable the common people to do uncommon things with the K entrepreneurship. Your innovation is the result of imagination again. So the entrepreneur is the dreamer who wanted to change, who wanted to turn his imagination into innovation. So then think, imagine, be philosopher. This is a way to get the decent job in Asian country, I think. Who are you? So please be not manager, not professional, but entrepreneur. Then only entrepreneur can see the opportunity in this crisis, in this difficulties. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I have to finish, right? So actually, finally, again, yeah. So I can say, I said innovation and the smile. So in your organization, if you can allow them to smile more, you can get more performance with the innovation. So smile and the innovation live in the same house. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kim, and you saved 5 minutes for me. And we have more time for other discussion. And maybe I think it's fair to invite Dr. Johnny Octavian, who is connected online now. Is he ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Hello, Dr. Octavian.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining our session, and you're so important, presenter today. So connection is okay? Oh, okay, hi.
Okay, hi.
So you can see us, right? The 4 of us.
Yes, very clear, very clear.
We are very much anxious to hear from you. So let me introduce you to the audience for 1 second, and then you can proceed. As you know, Dr. Johnny Octavian Haryanto, his advice to the Minister of Education, Culture, and Technology in Indonesia. But he's more well known as a renowned scholar in the field of marketing, and he published many important research papers in such prestigious journals, International Journal of Marketing Research, and the European Journal of Marketing. I envy you so much because I want to write so many, but you did it already. And he's also a university administrator, serving many universities in Indonesia in the capacity of, Secretary General or Rector. Rector means president. So he is experienced university administrators, and he's a scholar in marketing, and also he's working for his government in Indonesia. So this is really an honor to have him today here, and thank you so much for joining this session, even online from Indonesia. So you have 10 minutes for your presentation, so you can control your PPT on your side, okay? So could you go ahead for 10 minutes from now?
Okay, thank you, Chairman, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and also good evening from here from Washington, D.C., because at the moment I'm in the Washington, D.C., and I'm very jealous with all of you because I cannot attend this important event in Korea. Because of the time, I will make it short. If we compare Korea and Indonesia back to 1965, can you go to the next slide, please? If we compare the GDP back in 1965, already explained by Chairman Kim, your GDP is 1,000 and around 270, yeah, and then your annual growth at the time is 7.3%. Indonesia at the time is 574. So actually the comparison is one to two, yeah, between Korea and Indonesia. And the annual growth rate at the time is 1% in Indonesia. Actually, Indonesia is a big country, with 270 million population. We had a lot of resources, but at the times, yeah, still one comparison is 1 to 2. Next, please. But if we see, yeah, the last data, 2022, your GDP in South Korea is 32,000. Indonesia is only almost 5,000. Yeah. So if we can make a comparison, it's 1 to 6. Yeah, 1 to 6. Still very huge. And even the gap is even higher compared to what happened in 1965. So next, please. So I'm trying to see what are the key success factors why Korea is always ahead of us. Number one is domination of tech technology world. I still remember when I was a kid, yeah, in the Indonesian family, yeah, middle class, we have televisions from Germany. At that time, we still have Grundig, we still have ITT, and then Japan, they dominated, I think early 90s, yeah. Japan, they dominate all the technology worlds with the Sony, with the Panasonic, etc., etc. But now, if you go to Indonesia, you come to Indonesia, you go to the hotel, most of the hosts, they have LG, they have Samsung, yeah, all the Korean brand. Okay, and also handphone, mobile, now it's dominated by Samsung and also iPhone, no more from Japan. And number two is spreading of Hallyu. This Korean wave is very important. Even though if I have two children, yeah, 10 and 9 years old, if I ask them who is your favorite actor or actress, they always say BTS, Suga, and etc. etc. So Chairman Kim is correct. Yeah, they are very popular in Indonesia. Or even my housewife, she always see a Korean drama all the times. Yeah, sometimes she ignores me because of watching this Korean drama. So this Hallyu is very good, and it's spread a lot all over the Indonesia, and I think also other country. And also work hard. Yes, Chairman Kim is correct. I don't deal with him before, but we speak the same language. Work hard, and also the pressure from the geopolitics. I don't like to say this, but you are surrounded by Japan. Yeah, Japan is always, you always compare, Korea always compare with Japan. and also because of the North Korea, you have to be ready every time. You have to be innovative all the times. That makes Korea becoming now is one of the tiger in Asia. So next, please. And then what do we learn? COVID-19 and also Ukraine war has made all the countries suffer, mostly Western country. Now I'm in the Washington DC, a lot of homeless people in the intersection, in the street, and they are asking for money. If you just come out from the main station in Washington DC, a lot of homeless, they have tent, yeah, they have tent, they make a tent in the field and then asking money everywhere. It's just like Indonesia 20 years ago. Now you go to Jakarta, you go to Bandung, you go to big city in Indonesia, you will not find any of this homeless asking for money. And yes, crisis always create opportunities. What are the opportunities then? Now there's a big movement from investment from the West. Usually they go to China, but now they go to Korea, they go to Vietnam, and they go to Indonesia. Why? Because a huge market in Indonesia, 270 million. If you play golf in Indonesia, most of the golf Korean. They go to Indonesia playing golf. Some of them, they are businessmen or businesswomen, have factory, have a business in Indonesia. They go to Indonesia playing golf. So many Korean. Even now the caddy in Indonesia, you play golf, you have caddy. They can speak a little bit of Koreans. Yeah, why? Because so many Koreans in Indonesia. Next, please. So this is what we see during the foreign direct investment strategy of multinational company. Because of the economic crisis in 1998, yeah, they moved from China to Vietnam, and also from Vietnam to Indonesia. Most of this is based on the literature, yeah. Most of the U.S. companies now they don't feel comfortable in investing in China anymore because a lot of restriction, a lot of regulation, so they have to move. Yes, some of them they move to Vietnam, and some of them they also move to Indonesia. This creates the competitive advantage in Southeast Asia. The problem is Indonesians, because of what happened in 1965, the tolerance or the acceptance to the Chinese government and Chinese people, yeah, is not as good as what we did with the Korean. Yeah, because in 1965 and then 1998, because of the riots in Indonesia, a lot of Chinese become the victim. So now Indonesian, they love Korean more than China or other country. Because one of the factors is also because of the value. Next, please. Yeah, this is, I take the quotation from Jack Ma, where there are complaints, there are opportunities. So every time we have complaints, it means opportunities. Yeah, go to the next slide, please. Yeah, where there are complaints, there are opportunities. So every time there are complaints, there are opportunities. In Jakarta, because people complain the traffic jams, and then Nadiem Makarim, they create Gojek, yeah, if you know Gojek, the motorcycle rides, yeah, and become very popular and become one of the a unicorn in Indonesia. So every time there are complaints, there are opportunities. Next, please. Because of the time, I will go to the next. I don't have time to explain this. Next, please. Yeah. So what should we do in the next futures between Korea? If we want to learn from the key success factors from Korea and also in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we have the term KKN or CCN, which is collusion, corruption, and nepotism, which is very bad. And then after the reformations back to 1998, now there is no or limited KKN or corruption, collusion, and nepotism. Now we move to new KKN, komunikasi or communications, kolaborasi or collaboration, or networking. Yeah, so new CCN, communications, collaborations, and networking. Because of the complexity of the problems of the world, there is no country can stand alone. Korea need Indonesia, Indonesia need Korea, Korea need Japan, Japan need Korea, Indonesia need Japan, and all those things. So collaboration between the key, the concept of triple helix between academicians, government, and businessmen becomes very important. And also communications, communication. If you have a good communications, everything can be solved. Big problem with the good communications becomes small problem. Small problem with the good communications becomes no problem. So it means there is no problem if we have a good communication. And also networking. I think we are here because we are doing this networking. If we have friends everywhere, we have a lot of networks everywhere, it will help us in fostering our business, in fostering our process, and we will be move forward very soon. So this new CCN, communications, collaboration, and networking, I think is becoming the key, and we need to emphasize on all these things. So because of the time, I think 10 minutes already. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. As a marketing professor, you coined the very nice word KKN. That's very impressive, right? Communication, collaboration, networking. As you mentioned, there is some migration of the foreign direct investment, even from Korea to China, then to Vietnam, now to Indonesia. And I hope the Korean K-entrepreneurship will spread more while working with the Indonesian companies. So that is the future of us. Okay, thank you sharing your wisdom with us today. And let me switch to the offline speakers here with me. And maybe the first person that I may ask for the discussion is His Excellency Amit Kumar, the Ambassador of India to Korea. He has been in Korea just 8 months, but I'm so happy and glad that he accepted our offer to come all the way from Seoul to Jeju today for this short speech. And His Excellency Kumar, his career diplomat, serving many heavy class embassies in the world, like US Embassy, German Embassy, China, Japan, and UN. That means that he's really one of the top diplomats from India. He went to the best embassies in the world. And he was one of the principal players in forming bilateral and multilateral agreement in the area of the economic and the political spheres. So I think that he has accomplished so much as a career diplomat. And today we are so glad to have him here today. So he will speak about 10 minutes without text.
Thank you, Professor Jun, my fellow panelists, distinguished guests. Good afternoon. I'm very happy to join this panel discussion on the important issue of entrepreneurship development. And it's fascinating to learn of the Korean experience here. Though I must mention that there is a great deal of admiration in India about what South Korea has achieved, how it rose from the ruins of war to achieve its astonishing growth and advanced manufacturing prowess. There are certainly aspects that India can learn and absorb from the Korean experience as we move forward with our own development journey. As you know, I do not have a background in business or economics, perhaps a bit of marketing, because we do talk a lot about our country. But what I'll do in my remarks today is that I will talk about where India stands as a country today, the transformative changes that are underway in India, and then outline the steps that the government is taking to respond to these changes and promote entrepreneurship in India. India today is a US $3.4 billion economy. It is projected to grow at relatively high rates for the next 2 decades. And despite global headwinds, it is expected to grow at over 6% this year, 6.4% next year before gathering further momentum. As we are growing, we are also putting in place entirely new paradigms of frameworks for development in different areas. Our growth also offers a lot of opportunities for foreign businesses. We are not only a large market, but our geographical location also serves as a springboard for exports to third countries. In terms of broad transitions of what is happening in India today, I would like to very briefly highlight 6 areas. One, there is a relentless focus on improving both physical and digital infrastructure in India. And in fact, the most recent budget had allocated $137 billion in the current financial year towards infrastructure development. A related issue is improving logistics, both in terms of improving multimodal connectivity, but also in terms of improving our processes, like reducing turnaround time for ships where Korea really excels. Yet another priority is to strengthen the manufacturing sector and position India as an active player in the global supply chains. And of course, growth of small and medium enterprises is crucial to achieve this objective. In terms of green energy, we have set some very ambitious targets. We have made considerable progress as well, particularly through deployment of solar energy. And we hope to do the same with electric vehicles, secondary batteries, and green hydrogen. 5 is digital transformation, another key area for the government. And lastly, I wanted to refer to the startup sector in India. From barely a few hundred registered startups in India in 2016, we now have close to 90,000 startups. And this remarkable growth reflects the inherent growth potential in the Indian economy, the new opportunities that entrepreneurs are seeing for innovation in several areas. And one crucial change is also how society has started to view startups. The stigma associated with failure, I think, is no longer there. And this is something that the government has also tried to promote and make it acceptable that it's okay to fail. All in all, I think India is a very exciting place to be in nowadays. The future is promising. We are a populous country, but a relatively young country as well. The median age of our population is less than 28 years. The youth in India are aspirational, innovating, and demanding as well. At the same time, government recognizes that this would not be a smooth journey, and there will be challenges along the way. And in this regard, skilling, entrepreneurship development, and providing a conducive environment for small and medium enterprises in India, which are incidentally all supply side factors, are very crucial for our future growth. And I think what Professor Kim in his presentation mentioned, the pursuit of opportunities regardless of resources, is something I think is what we are trying to attempt here. On some of the aspects that I mentioned, including our efforts to improve infrastructure, logistics, and manufacturing, we can certainly draw lessons from the Korean experiences, and there would be opportunities for collaboration on several other aspects. In terms of specific steps that the government is taking, the single most important factor was undoubtedly the new national education policy in 2020. The aim is to fundamentally transform the way our universities have functioned so far. And among its objectives is to expand the role of a university from simply imparting education to become a hub for the wider community, making the curriculum more flexible, introducing a culture of multidisciplinary approach, moving away from silo-based approaches, incentivizing research, and strengthening the interface between academics and industry. There is also a push to establish startup incubation centers, technology development centers, and centers in frontier areas of research. The national education policy also encourages high schools and universities to hire experts to teach entrepreneurship as an area of study. The university startup incubation centers have done well. They have provided access to infrastructure, mentoring, scale-up strategies, and seed money that increase the likelihood of converting initial research projects into workable business models and to securing intellectual property. In the past 3 years, more than 100 unicorns have emerged in India. And many of these were actually incubated in universities in India. Indian universities today are also exploring deeper collaboration with foreign universities in areas such as curriculum development, joint degree programs, joint research, etc. And I believe that entrepreneurship development could be a potential area for collaboration with Korean universities. The second step was the Startup India initiative of the government, which is the biggest public platform for information about policies, financial plans, and programs to support startups, as well as a forum for the government to receive feedback as to what could be done next. 3, there are also specialized agencies focusing on specific areas. For example, the Center for Cellular and Molecular Platforms under the Department of Biotechnology supports research-based startups in industries like agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and medical diagnostics. Similarly, the department also assists startups in the area of biotechnology through its Industry Research Assistance Council. 4, the government has also focused on initiatives which make it easier for entrepreneurs to avail financial credit to start small and micro enterprises. 5th, the government is focused on skill mapping. And I think this is a particularly important topic because of the rapidly changing labor landscape due to advancements of technology in so many areas. The Ministry of Skill Development is in regular touch with universities, industries, and other stakeholders to anticipate trends and accordingly prepare new entrants into the labor force with the necessary skill sets. 6, the innovation that we are seeing today due to new and emerging technologies are invariably enabled by the availability of advanced computing prowess, as well as data analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Our attitude towards use of data and technology will shape the future. And I think, therefore, a capacity to innovate with data will create new opportunities and address some of the challenges that we face. Therefore, before I conclude, I just wanted to also briefly touch upon our approach to digital transformation. India has adopted an entirely different paradigm compared to known models in the US, EU, or China. India is investing in building public digital utility platforms, just like we build physical infrastructure like roads and railways. This new paradigm has allowed us to create platforms like Unified Payment Interface, which has spawned a series of innovations in the financial technology sector. The idea is to make digital tools accessible to everyone, to make them easier for users to utilize them, and so on. Very briefly, UPI is a payment system that allows users to link more than one bank account in a single smartphone app and make fund transfers securely on a real-time basis without having to provide complicated IFSC codes or account numbers. Today, more than 350 banks, credit card companies, and other payment gateways are part of the UPI in India. And last year, it handled US $1.5 trillion worth of transactions on the system. And to put this number in context, this accounts for almost 85% of Korean GDP, 80% of Korean GDP. So I think I'll stop here. I've slightly exceeded my time, but I believe the sharing of experiences as we all grow will be helpful, and I look forward to the panel discussion ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, sharing what is happening in India. We think India will be one of the superpower in the future with their talented people, a vast domestic market, and their initiative in digital transformation. When I went to MIT for my PhD days, I had two of my colleagues were Indian students. One was Sumantra Ghoshal, and the other was Nitin Noria. We studied together, and one of them became Dean of Harvard Business School, and the other one went to London School of Business and renowned international business scholar. From that days, I have very high respect for Indian students. And now they have more than 1.3 billion people, and the government is driving in the right direction for digital transformation, setting the infrastructure, and the emphasis on manufacturing. So I think they will be one of the great countries, and they already shown the very high economic performance with more than 6% growth rate. So, and I think that there may be many things that Korea and India can do together. As we see it today, Hyundai Motors, LG, Samsung, they are all working in India. And I hope the Korean entrepreneurship will be some, assistance to their development. And maybe there's a day that we can have more collaboration. Thank you for coming today. And finally, I have the Professor In-Yu Oh from Japan. He's Kansai, professor at Kansai Foreign University. And Professor Oh is my former colleague since 2010. We worked together in different universities, but we have developed a good friendship. And he's very productive and sincere scholar in organizational behavior. And he worked in many different universities, including, the Sorbonne International School of Business, Korea University, and he also, taught in the UK, Singapore, and the Middle East. And now he's the editor of Asian Pacific Business Review, prestigious management, the journal. And he is the most of all ambassador of Korean culture, K culture. So he's spreading K culture all over the world. He served as chairman of the World K Culture Association. So now here is Dr. Oh.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind and warm introduction. I'm In-Gyo. I flew in last night from Japan, and I was very lucky because although it was heavy raining and foggy out there, luckily the God gave us 30 minutes of clear sky so that we could land in the airport safely somewhere here. This came even better because it's very bright and sunny today. Following up on what other great guest speakers talked about today, I'm going to pretty much give you more sort of inside detail about Korean pop culture or K culture or K-pop or K-drama as a new and up-and-coming Korean K entrepreneurship experience. It's a very successful case study for many scholars these days. But when I was first studying this about 20 years ago, actually it was very difficult to convince other scholars that this will be a great thing to come in the Korean history. But nowadays, I'm very glad because all of our guest speakers today talked highly about Hallyu and K-pop today. So it makes me feel a lot easier because I don't have to persuade you again one more time, saying that this is a successful case study for Korean entrepreneurship. It is an entrepreneurship because it started from a very small company. Like, the first famous company is built and run by Soo-Won Lee, the former chairman of SM Entertainment. But in less than 20 years now, you have a very successful, partially Korean, partially American company called Hybe Entertainment, operating headquartered in the United States. So from less than 20 years, I think we started from Seoul to, the world biggest K-pop, pop music market in the world, that's the United States. So I'm going to share with you this sort of quick, brief turnaround from a small Korean struggling company to the globally popular, globally lucrative business as a startup and entrepreneurship in Korean business history. Okay, so mainly it's about K-pop and K-drama, although we can call K-culture, including a lot of different things like instant noodles and, tteokbokki kind of, all kinds of stuff. But here mainly I talk about two big businesses, successful entrepreneurship case studies of K-pop and K-drama. So why these two are important? Because if you look at this data, I put some figures up there on the board. It garners and basically rakes in a lot of money, like $12.45 billion a year. That was recorded in 2021, which is biggest probably in the Korean sort of fourth industry sector businesses. Like if you compare that figure with electronics, it's much higher. If you compare that with the secondary cell, this is battery business, it's even higher. So all these, celebrate cases of Korean engineering success. Fourth industry sector is smaller than K-pop, K-drama sector altogether. So that's a very sensational development in less than 25 years. And if you remember, Professor Kim right next to me gave you a long and very nice speech about how we poor people became rich over a 60-year period. It took us, the cultural people, K-pop, K-business people, less than 25 years to reach world's number 6 in terms of business success. So this is about basically what's the key to this Hallyu success? Well, I'll say this is because of a lot of what we would call today stakeholder capitalism. Because who's the biggest stakeholder of K-pop, K-drama? Well, the fans all over the world are the stakeholders, and they're deeply involved in this business as a co-creators of the value. So if you look at this 2022 estimates, we have in the world we have more than 100 million K-pop, K-drama fans. I think it's probably slightly larger than Bollywood fans in your country. But we learned a lot from India, of course. And Bollywood is a really successful post-colonial pop culture. But unlike Bollywood, our fan basis is about 99% female. So this is very shocking. So many people really, it's like a big elephant in the room because they don't know how to answer this question. Why is 99% of all the fans all over the world are women of all ages, all racial and ethnic backgrounds? So, but I try to tackle this question today as a spirit because Professor Kim talked a lot about Korean spirit, and this is part of Korean spirit. We have a new spirit coming in that is what I call today new universalism. What is new universalism? Because it's new. And it's universalist because it applies to every country, everywhere. So why is universalism? Because it's about female universal, meaning that it's all same everywhere you go. All women of all ages, all ethnic and racial groups somehow love K-pop and K-drama. So say here, I would define K in K-drama, K-pop as Koreanness, but represents new type of universalism called female universalism. So what is female universalism? Well, there in marketing, I do a little bit about, of course I do a lot of OB, but I do somewhat marketing too. And in marketing, we have a new theory called, this is a famous theory from Harvard, Brian Holt's theory of finding an alternative message to dominant cultural patterns. So for example, if white male universalism is a dominant cultural pattern in the Anglo-American world, which is basically the leaders of the globalization this 21st century, we can find an alternative voice to that. So what could be an alternative to white male universalism? What could be female, non-white female universalism of all kinds? So here, when Korean entrepreneurs, K-culture entrepreneurs studied this business, they had to be distinguished from two patterns. The first dominant pattern is Anglo-American white male universalism on the one hand, represented by Sherlock Holmes or Superman and so forth. But on the other hand, you have a regional Japanese local competitor who basically developed their own regional universalism, represented by Super Mario Brothers or Slam Dunk, that kind of stuff. Or these days you have, I forgot the name, but many anime, video anime products from Japan. So Korea has to be somewhat different from these two types, and that therefore we call it new universalism. So if we don't have white men in Korea, if we don't have a Super Mario in Korea, what do we have? We have Korean women. So that's they studied Korean new universalism. So how do I know? Well, we did a little bit of research about this. Between 2021, if you compare K-drama and US drama, 64% of K-drama features both men and women equally, whereas in the United States, only 38%. Whereas in the United States, 44% of all top 100 most famous dramas were played by one single male actor. So that's very shocking, isn't it? Because in K-drama, it's equally men and women. K-pop is worse. If you look at K-pop, better. I mean, American pop is worse. Korean pop is much better because if you look at this, about half and half of both male and female singers made top 300 most popular songs. Whereas in the United States, it's only 27.8% female. Okay, so this is white male universalism, whereas Korea is Korean female universalism. So this is a new message. And also, what is the real message? We did the same thing. If you look at this, so I talking about female universalism like feminism or homosexuality. No. Here in Korean, female universalism means women who are seeking pure love. So the number one K-drama story is true love stories. So it's not like a corrupt adult, highly sensual American Hollywood type of love. No, Korean love stories really non-sensual, explicit, but pure, true love stories. Same thing with K-pop. True love stories, K-pop main lyric themes. Okay, so that tells you a lot about the situation here. The next one is risk shareholder. Capitalism idea. So how do you involve these female fans all over the world in the production of K-pop and K-drama? Well, in the case of this hive, BTS, which is our case today, they run 3 important programs from day one, from 2015, even now 2021. What do? They show they have their privatized personal fan interactive fan communication platforms like Run BTS or Puzzle Star BT21. And then even they have a co-production with the Korean language promoters called Learn Korean with BTS and so forth. So this is exactly the channels communication channels where fans and idols can interact together as value co-creators. There are more examples of value co-creation. If you look at this, they involve in the fundraising for philanthropy and also social impact investing. So to improve women's fate in the world. If you see that here, same thing. We did a little bit of study here. We supporting the argument that if you are a woman, if you suffer from female universalism, if you like female universalism, then you want to get involved in the K-pop movement. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Wow. Even if I'm a fan of the K-drama, mostly, not the K-music, I watch many K-dramas, but I didn't recognize the female universalism. But today I learned about that, from your data. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's the female universalism is one of the new trend that is excised by the K culture. Okay, so we concluded the presentation session. So I'll open the floor to the audience, and we have about 10 minutes to go. So if there is any question, please introduce yourself and specify the speaker that you want to ask a question. And then I hopefully that the question has to be short and precise so that we can have more questions. So please pick your speaker and then ask a question. Yes. Yes. On the right-hand side, the white shirts, gentleman. Yeah. Thank you. So introduce yourself and then specify the speaker and then ask question. Thank you.
多摩大学附属聖ヶ丘高校の、高校2年生の上中俊明というものです。キム・キチャンさんに一つ質問がございます。キム・キチャンさん、一言よろしいですか。はい。プレゼンテーションの最初の際に、国ごとの笑顔の数について語っていただいたかと思うんですけど、それと起業家精神の親和性を教えていただくことは可能でしょうか。
Yes, the reason why I have mentioned about smile and innovation, actually in Western entrepreneurship, it's only focusing on innovation with the risk taking, with the proactivity, but the person can enable actually the smile can enable person to be innovative. So then the difference between Western entrepreneurship and the Korean entrepreneurship is about the people. For example, the Western entrepreneurship is only focusing on innovation, risk taking, proactive the execution. But the Korean entrepreneurship is more about the people. The business is people. So then we are going to more focusing on empathy. We are going to more focusing on empowerment. We are going to more focusing on enablement. So then if we allow to emphasize, to empower, to enable, then the people can make more time to smile. So then I summarized smile and innovation will be lived in the same house like this. Yeah.
Thank you. We have another gentleman next. Yes, could you ask questions?
聖ヶ丘高校高2の山口拓馬です。僕も同じくキム・キチャンさんに質問があるんですけど、話の内容の起業家精神のそのファイティン精神だったりとか、そういう精神ってどうやって身につくんでしょうか。身が固まるって言いますか、なんかそれは教育によって身につくものなんでしょうか。教えてほしいです。
Yeah, very difficult question, but very good question, I think. Yeah. So then today I wanted to differentiate between strategic approach and the cultural approach. Yeah. So then whenever Western people talked about entrepreneurship, they mentioned about more strategy rather than culture. But culture is made from people. Strategy is made from the how can I say the head. I think actually the culture is made from mind, heart. Yeah. But strategy is made from head and mind. Yeah. So then if we think more, for example, the fourth industrial revolution is coming, means the more technology we have. But I think the more technology we have, the more high touch we need, we want. So then if we are emphasizing more, then fighting spirit or the philosophy get diffused with others. So then, culturally in Korea, yeah. So then, regardless company, university, organization, so the sports game, we are saying the fighting spirit. In Japan, 일본에서 뭐라 그러죠? Fighter. Oh, fighter, same, almost same, yeah. Fighter and the fighting, almost same, yeah. So whenever we are saying, yeah, we are thinking about the spirit, yeah. So then the fighting is going to support, get good performance, then they are going to repeat, yeah. So that is the learning way to Korean spirit, I think, yeah. Any comment? Any other?
That is a very difficult question, and maybe the different education system is, encourage a fighting spirit in some culture, in some other culture, especially I think in Japan, people try to obey the rules, keep silent, keep low profile. That's the Japanese culture, I think. So in one day you cannot change a rule sudden, but it's a time taking process. So over time, I think Japanese culture may also change a little bit, so more dynamic, and then you have a more fighting spirit, I guess.
Actually, I became more curious about the fighting. So then I thought that in Japan, fighter, yeah? Fighter and the fighting, any relationship? So, I think we learned from the Japanese.
Maybe Dr. O is also working in Korea and Japan, so you may have a say. No, it's okay. Yeah, any more questions from the audience? So, any question? And to His Excellence Kumar, or the doctor, professor in Indonesia. Okay, yes, please. Okay.
多摩大学経営情報学部2年の高橋直です。オウ・インギュさんで読み方合っておりますか？質問がありまして、日本にも J-POP という文化がありますが、今後 K-POP に並ぶほど人気になるにはどのような戦略を取る必要があると思いますか
？J-POP は今すでに成功しているんですから、もう特に韓国から勉強するわけはないんですけれども、もうグローバル化したいんだったらですね、だから今まで J-POP はもうリージョナルな大成功したジャンルじゃないですか。でもっとK-POP みたいに全世界的に有名なジャンルに成功させたいというその考えがあるんだったら、ちょっともっと国際的な観点でからなんか制作とか。例えば韓国の K-POP の主に韓国の K-POP の曲はスウェーデンとかイギリスとかアメリカの曲を輸入してそれを韓国で制作したものですから、日本の J-POP は今すでに 100% 国内生産でしょ。でそれもちょっと考え変わってですね、海外の例えば韓国の K-POP の曲を輸入したらどうですかっていうその提案も考えられるんです。
ありがとうございます。
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Yes. We have many questions from Japanese students today.
多摩大目黒の高校から来ました飯田ライラです。オウ・インギュ先生に質問がございます。需要と供給はやはり一致するものだと思いまして、K ドラマは純粋な愛の要素が多いとおっしゃったんですが、やはり、いろんな国の人はそういうものを求めてだからこそ K ドラマが出来上がったんでしょうか。
最初からはどうやって国際化するかっていう何らかのアイデアはなかったんですね。でも昔から韓国のドラマの場合、日本も少しそうだったんですけれども、女性 女性中心のコンテンツを創作しようという考えがあった。その一つの理由はですね、韓国の脚本者たちは主にほとんど女性です。だから女性中心のコンテンツを最初から開発した努力があったということが少し基本的にファウンデーションになっているんじゃないかと思うんです。
ありがとうございました。
네, 대략 저희가 시간이 이제 다 된 것 같아서 혹시 한 분 정도만 더 can I ask just one more question from the audience? Otherwise, oh yes, please. Okay.
はじめまして、多摩大学2年の伊藤圭也と申します。よろしくお願いします。アメット・クメールさんかな、多分読み方合ってるかなってちょっと不安なんですけども、話の内容で、韓国はイノベーションをすごい続けてきているっていう話が出てたと思うんですけども、今そうですね、日本でイノベーションをするべきだとか、日本が世界のアジア圏内多分今遅れてると思うんですけども、日本のこういうところをイノベーションしたらもっと追いつけるみたいな、何かそういうものがあったらご教授をいただけるとありがたいです。
Very good question. Very interesting question.
Thank you for your question. I think it's not really possible for me to comment on the Japanese situation at the moment, but what is indeed happening is that because the technological landscape is changing so fast in so many areas, some of the known practices and models that have worked for us in the past will perhaps not work in the future. And we'll probably need to reorient our thinking on how to approach these challenges. And that is why when I was talking about the Indian experience, that is why I was talking about the importance of the new education policy, on how we are trying to make our education system responsive to these changes, how we are trying to promote a multidisciplinary approach of learning, making a curriculum more flexible. And I can talk of Indian experience. For example, if you are a science student in a university, it is very difficult for you to take electives from liberal arts or humanities. And this is what the new education policy is trying to do. And the issue about multidisciplinary approach to learning is not, of course, limited to universities. This is a much wider framework. Universities also need to talk to industry in terms of curriculum development and so on. So in general, I'll say that the new knowledge-based and innovation economy that we are facing today, or we are heading into, will require a multi-stakeholder approach and trying to consult. So I hope that will probably provide some clues to what we are supposed to do next. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really an excellent answer. And it may apply not only to Japan, but also other countries who want to upgrade the innovation system. Okay, this is about 35 seconds, close to the end. So thank you for all these participants in the audience and the speakers and discussion, especially Dr. Joni from Indonesia. You participate online, even if it's a bit inconvenient for you, but it was very nice to have you. And also I want to send my special thanks to President Kim of Halla University to set the stage for us today. Thank you, everybody. This is the conclusion of the session. Bye-bye.
Thank you.